Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Athanasia, and I'm here to talk about Hawthorn-Melbourne and our beautiful city, Melbourne. First of all, I hope all of you are staying safe and keeping well during this time, and that one day soon we can meet in person, hopefully in Australia or maybe in Turkey. Who knows? So I'm just going to share my screen with you. As I said, Hawthorn-Melbourne, which is in Melbourne, Australia, and we do have a course guide in Turkish. So if you would like to read about our courses or find out more in your language, please scan this QR code or go on our website and you can read this in your own time. I will put this slide on at the end as well, so don't worry, you will have plenty of time to find this. So Melbourne, I'm not sure how many of you have been to Australia, if any, or Melbourne, but Melbourne is on the east coast of Australia. So we are near a lot of the major cities in Australia. We are really close to Sydney, the capital Canberra, Adelaide. It's really easy to get to Brisbane, Tasmania. So it's a really great place to travel from. And even for international flights, you can find a lot of direct flights to other places in the world. Melbourne is also the second largest city in Australia. So the population is about 4.5 million people. Now, depending on where you live at the moment, that might be a lot or it might not be a lot. I used to live in Perth in Australia, which is on the west coast, which is much smaller. So for me, Melbourne is nice and busy. If you come from Istanbul, it might not be that busy for you. Melbourne was actually voted the world's most livable city for 7 years in a row. I believe we are currently number 2. We have lost to Vienna in Austria. That just means basically that we have great healthcare, education, social life, job opportunities. It's just a really nice place to live, to be honest. An amazing thing about Melbourne for me is that it's a big city. You've got all the benefits of a big city, but at the same time, you've got beaches really close to the city. So you can either choose to live near the beach, if you like going to the beach, or you can take a tram and easily go to the beach on the weekend, if you like. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Another amazing thing is how green the city is. Even though it's such a big city, there's a lot of big buildings, there are still beautiful parks. It's really easy to walk around, relax in the park, and just hang out with your friends or by yourself. It's definitely really green. But definitely my favorite thing about Melbourne is how multicultural it is. As you probably saw from my name, I come from Greece, and I have to say that I feel really welcome in Melbourne and in Australia. It doesn't matter where you are from, what language you speak, you are really accepted and respected here, and you will see that all around you. There are people from so many nations. You can have friends from all over the world. Now, it's not just that, but Melbourne is the capital for many things. So for example, if you're a foodie and you like eating and having a bit of wine or other drinks, this is the place to be. You can find cuisine from many different places. I actually tried a Turkish restaurant. That was amazing. But you can find any cuisine that you like in the city. You can also go to Yarra Valley, which is the wine region near Melbourne, about an hour's drive. So there are a lot of different foods that you can try over here. One thing you have to try, except the food and the wine, is definitely the coffee. For big coffee lovers, it's one of the best places to get your coffee from. But you know what? It's not just the coffee. It's actually the cafe culture that we've got over here. So as you can see, plenty of cafes, you know, tables outside, sitting there, hanging out with your friends. You find a cute little cafe in a hidden little street and you have your coffee. It's really common, and it reminds a little bit of the European culture with coffee, I have to say. While you're looking for that coffee, you will find so many different hidden spots. I have been living in Melbourne for almost 3 years now, and I still haven't discovered every part of the city. So there are these little alleyways and hidden streets with cafes and restaurants and graffiti. So, you know, there's always something to do before and after school, and there is always something new to discover. Maybe you like shopping. You might know or not know that we've got the biggest shopping centre in the Southern Hemisphere, which is Chadstone Shopping Centre. You can find so many shops. You can literally get lost there for days and shop for anything that you need. It's not just the shopping centres though, it's also these little arcades that we have in the city where you can find more boutique stores, you know, something different that maybe you can't find in a normal chain store. So if you like shopping, there is definitely shopping to do in Melbourne. We also love our culture here. So you might know that we have a lot of landmarks in Melbourne, such as, for example, the Flinders Street train station, which, believe it or not, is in the picture. This is a train station, which is beautiful, and also our famous trams. And there are also amazing museums that you can find exhibitions from around the world throughout the year. For example, last year we had an exhibition from New York. I mean, you will be able to see exhibitions that you would see in other really big cities in the world. If you like sport, Melbourne is a place to be. Australian football is really, really popular in Melbourne. We even get a public holiday for it. We have really big stadiums. If you like cricket, this is a great place to be. If you like tennis, this is the place to be with the famous tournaments that we have every year. If you like soccer, even, it doesn't matter if you like to play or just watch, you can definitely get involved over here. And of course, education. So in Melbourne, we have a lot of the top world universities, and we can't not mention the University of Melbourne, which is also #1 in Australia. So if you are looking to come to Australia to study, Melbourne is definitely one of the places you want to come to because of the level of education that it offers. So speaking of education, this is us, Hawthorn-Melbourne. So we are an English language school. We are not a university. But if you're thinking of going to university and you need to study English before, then you would come to us. So our school was established in 1986, which means that we are one of the oldest schools for English language courses. And we are mostly known for, and we specialize in preparing students for further study. So like I said, if you want to go to university and you need English, then Hawthorn-Melbourne can help you with that. We also have a special program to go to the University of Melbourne if you would like to study there. And we are endorsed by the University of Melbourne to teach English to you. If you have seen Navitas schools around the world, Navitas is a huge organization. We are actually part of the Navitas group. So Hawthorn-Melbourne is really a trusted and established school if you want to study English. Our school is not in the city. It's about 8 kilometers from the city in a suburb called Hawthorn, which is also in our name. It's a beautiful green suburb that is very safe and has that, you know, beautiful, typical Australian and Melbourne life, and we are surrounded by public transport. So we have a bus that passes exactly in front of our school. There is a tram, 1 kilometre walk from us. There is a train station, 1 kilometre's walk from us. So depending on where you choose to live, it's really easy to get to us. Now, our courses. So if you want to study English, your level is somewhere between elementary and advanced, and we offer courses for all the different levels. So, for example, if you are young and you are thinking of finishing high school in Australia, then we offer the English for High School program, and you can prepare your English for high school in Australia. If you would like to improve your general English, you would like to speak a lot and practice listening, reading and writing, and then you would definitely be suitable to general English, which we have at different levels. We also have English for business at higher levels. So if you would like to work in Australia at some point, that would really help you. Also working back home, because you would learn a lot of skills about working in general. And then if your English level is a little bit higher, you can do one of our academic courses. So we have English for academic purposes 1 and 2. We have preparation for IELTS if you need to do that IELTS test, and intensive academic preparation if you are ready to go to university and you just need to prepare for English studies at an Australian university. As I mentioned earlier, we have that special program called the University of Melbourne English Language Bridging Program. So in that program, you will be preparing specifically for your course in the University of Melbourne, for the research that you would need to do, for the academic English that you would need. So depending on what your current English level is, you would find out which class you would be in. For example, if you have already done an IELTS and you know you got about a 5, then you can either start with an academic course, such as English for Academic Purposes 2, or you could go to a general English course, such as pre-advanced, and move to the next level through there. If you haven't done an IELTS test or a TOEFL test or PTE, don't worry, we do an English test at our school. So on the first day, we would test you. We would be able to tell you what your level is, and we will put you in the right class, and then of course check that you are in the right class. A little bit more information about the University of Melbourne Bridging Program. So this is for students that have already done an IELTS and they have a score that is half a point under what they need for university. So if your university studies require a 7, then you would need a 6.5 to enter this course. If your degree is asking for a 6.5, then you need a 6. We also have the preparation program for this course, which means that you can enter with a 5.5. But this is only for courses that don't need a 7. Now, of course, you don't need to go to the University of Melbourne if you don't want to. There are plenty of other pathway partners that we have that are listed here, which means that you can progress from your English studies to this university. And it also means that for some of them, you can package your visa. So you only have one visa for all your studies, which makes it a little bit easier. So for example, if you would like to go to La Trobe University, you can get the same visa to study English with us and then go through to La Trobe University. You might be wondering what the timetable looks like. So for example, if you choose to study general English, you would start at 8:30 in the morning and finish at 1. And you would have half an hour break. So we teach 4 hours a day. If you were studying academic English, then you would study in the afternoon, so 1 o'clock to 5:30 p.m. with half an hour break. Of course, now with the coronavirus, we are teaching online, so some of these times may vary. So these are the course dates for this year. And on our website, you can actually find the course dates for next year as well. You will notice that all of our courses, except one, is all of our courses are 5 weeks in 10-week blocks. So that means that for each level, you would probably need to do 10 weeks to go to the next level. And between each 10-week course, we have a 1-week break. So as I mentioned, of course, we have the coronavirus situation going on at the moment. So we have been able to transfer all our courses that I've just talked about to online delivery. So you can still do the general English and the academic English, but it will just be online for now. You will still get the same class. You will still get the live 4 hours with your teacher, and you will still get weekly consultations to get help. And you actually don't need a visa. If you choose to start studying online, you will only need the visa once you can come to Australia. So at the moment, borders in Australia are closed to international students, but hopefully they will open soon. But in the meantime, you can choose to start your English studies online. You might also be wondering who your classmates will be. So this varies. Every single class and every single course, there are different people in different nationalities in the school. So each year we get over 40 nationalities. At the moment, you can see that the majority are from North Asia. So for example, China, Japan, and then the next biggest groups are Latin America, so Brazil, Colombia, Chile, and Middle East. We get Saudi students, and then we do get some from Europe and other countries, such as, for example, India. So it really depends. And the best thing about that is you can make friends from all over the world that you can one day visit in their own countries. Our campus, which we are all missing right now because we have to sit behind our screens, is actually the University of Melbourne Hawthorn campus. So we are really lucky because we really have a university campus at our disposal. We really have a lot of space. It's 3 different floors. So it's really nice to be able to utilize all that space. This is the entrance. So if you ever come to our school, you might recognize this from my presentation. And our classrooms, we have classrooms over 3 floors, as I said. We have obviously, the traditional classrooms with the tables and the whiteboard. All the whiteboards are interactive, and you can use different software on them. We also have a lecture theatre, and there are also study areas in the library. In the library, you can borrow books. You can have a study session with your friends. You can use the computers, which have software on there to practice your English. And you can also go to the Independent Learning Centre, which has 3 workshops every day. So just to show you an example, this is an example from week 6 in a course. And you can see that if you are studying in the morning and you finish at 1 o'clock, then you are able to go to 2 workshops after class. Maybe you will choose Monday, 1:30 speaking, coming to Australia, and then Wednesday you want to practice your vocabulary about travel. Or if you are studying in the afternoon in the academic classes, you can go to any of these workshops in the morning. So maybe, Tuesday, IELTS speaking practice test. All of these are free. You can attend as many as you want, and they are categorized by level, which means that in the class, students will be of the same level, but they will not necessarily be from your class. So you can make even more friends from other classes. It's not all about studying though. It's very important that you practice English in other ways as well. One of the ways that you can do that is by participating in other fun activities outside the classroom. So every course, we have a different program of fun activities. You can choose to play basketball or join conversation club or cooking club, music club. So you can find different fun things to do. And again, meet people from different classes. One great thing about studying English at Hawthorn-Melbourne is that every single class has an excursion in a 10-week course. So that means you will go with your teacher, with your classmates, you will discover another place outside the school. Maybe you will go see kangaroos, maybe you will walk around the city. And you can also join excursions on weekends and also during the study breaks, during the 1-week study breaks. So this is another good way to get out there, enjoy yourself, everything that Melbourne has to offer. Now you've got all these friends to hang out with, you need a place to hang out with them. So we have student lounge areas that you can sit in and relax. We are very lucky in that we have a huge cafeteria space. So you can sit there to have lunch. There's a table tennis table. There is a big TV. So it's a really nice place to hang out. Of course, I mentioned sport in Melbourne. So I have to mention sport at our school. We have a gym that you can use for free. And we also have basketball courts, squash courts. So really, if you wanted to, you could spend all day at our school. You could study your class and then have your lunch with your friends and then attend a workshop in the library and then attend a fun activity and then play some sport, and then you're ready to go home. So it's really good to get involved and practice English in any way possible. If you like nature, we are lucky to be surrounded by greenery, so there are gardens around us, and we also have a cinema in the school that teachers sometimes like to use for special occasions. If you don't want to spend all day in school, like I suggested, then you can actually get out of school around the campus. It's a really nice area. So before I mentioned the train station that is only 1 kilometer from the school, to get to this train station, you have to walk through this park that you can see in this picture. If you don't want to take the train, you take the tram, also 1 kilometer walk, then you will find cafes and restaurants and also trams to take you to the city. So you can hang around campus as well. You don't have to stay inside the school building. So unfortunately, you can't travel at the moment to come see what I'm talking about, but you can see our campus. You can walk through our school through a 360 tour. You can find it on Google by searching Hawthorn English, or you can go on our website and click on Campus Tour. I think it's a nice way to get a bit of a taste of where you could be when you can finally travel. So here are my contact details. If you have any other questions that you didn't think of right now, or if you want some advice on what course you would like to study, or if you'd like to talk to somebody and about Melbourne, then feel free to email me, WhatsApp me. I'm more than happy to talk to you. I actually used to be a teacher at Hawthorn-Melbourne, so I'm happy to talk to you a little bit in English if you would like to see how your English is going. Of course, don't forget to have a look at our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because we use social media to put up the latest information. So if you want to know the latest information, such as, for example, that there is a cooking club tomorrow, then you will find that information on our social media. So as promised, here is again the QR code to the course guide in Turkish. So if you would find it easier to read some information, please go and check that out. You can go on our website and then you can also click on that. But other than that, that's all I wanted to tell you today. Please let me know if there is anything else you would like to know about. That's me. Thank you.
Atanasya, thank you so much for the presentation.
No problem.
Kylie was meanwhile responding to the questions that were on the chat. And now we don't have any more questions, but let's wait for a little bit because we still have a lot of time. So
sure.
I'm sure there will be more questions to come.
Okay, lovely. I could hear while I was presenting, I could hear the chat being quite busy. So really thank you, Kylie, for doing that. And thank you to everybody that also asked questions.
I'll just go ahead and remind them that it's a good time to ask the questions in Turkish. Arkadaşlar şu anda çok yani sunum bitmiş durumda. Tam zamanı, sorularınız varsa eğer sormak için en iyi zaman. Lütfen chat box'tan ya da questions kısmından sorularınızı yazabilirsiniz.
Great. So I can see a question from Chelsea. Is that if we have health services for coronavirus?
Atanasya, can you respond to the questions, please?
Sure. So the first one, health services for COVID. Do you mean if the school provides health services for students or just taking precautions for the students?
You can answer for both of them, maybe.
Yeah, okay. So currently our students are not on campus. So we have transferred all our courses online, but our campus is still open. So if students have issues, for example, with their internet or their computer, they can go on campus, but we are taking all precautions as advised by the government. So, for example, they have to follow social distancing rules. They have to fill out a form to come into the building. They have to let us know if they have any of the symptoms. And we also provide information to them if they need to go to a doctor. Even before the coronavirus situation, students could actually come to us and ask us where they could go to the doctor. We had some cases where we took students to the doctor, especially students under 18. So we are trying to follow all of the advice by the government. And when we do open our building, we will definitely still be following those rules, and also extra cleaning precautions. There has been a lot of hand sanitizer around the school and reminding students to follow good hygiene. So hopefully this will all be over soon, but we can still continue with great hygiene. And I can see another question, do you help with finding accommodation and relocation? Yes, so we have a student services team, and they have an accommodation office. So they can help with homestay. If a student would like to stay with an Australian family, then we can actually organize that for them. If they would like to rent a house, not, stay with homestay, then we can provide some extra information for them. We don't do it for them, but they can definitely find extra information in our school, and our student services team is really helpful. They know a lot of the rules in Melbourne and Australia for finding housing. Yes, so Mustafa, thank you for your question. I can see you're asking about insurance. I was actually in a webinar earlier today where I heard that you still do your visa and you still do your health insurance cover, but then they apparently refund you the portion that you don't use for the time that you can't travel to Australia. So traditionally, you would do your student visa and then you get the cover from the time you get that. But now maybe you'll get your visa and you can't travel. So that is what I heard today. I'm not sure if Kylie has heard anything different, but I would definitely check with the health insurance companies.
So we can arrange the health insurance process. And then once you arrive in Australia, we will activate the insurance. So it's active from the day you arrive. If you've paid too much insurance, we can certainly refund that to you. So you don't need to worry about that. We'll just include it in the letter of offer when you apply to us, and we can look after it for you. And the fee for the health insurance, if you are traveling by yourself, it's 55 Australian dollars per month. Mustafa, that's correct. If you are traveling to Australia on a student visa, you must actually purchase overseas student health cover through an Australian provider. So the school can do that for you on your behalf, or we can send you the links of who you can purchase it through directly if you want to. The health insurance and the visa application and all the course fees They are very important for the students, and we can send that information to you. The presentation today was just to provide a bit of an overview about our school, but we're happy to answer any more detailed questions for you.
Well, it seems like you answered all the questions and there is no more other questions. But do you have anything else that you want to add before we close this?
No, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for joining us today. And please, if you think of more questions, such as Mustafa's question, which is really good, let us know, email us, contact us through the website, because they are very important questions when you are planning to come to Australia. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Atanasia and Kylie, for participating. Can you both leave your email addresses on the chat box so people can contact you on your emails personally?
Sure.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.